Myself all the way up from the M1 or the A1, wherever, however it is you get up to Edinburgh all day. Please, the people say that this is the hardest job in the world. It's not. I've never once had to perform brain surgery or, you know, any surgery on stage. I've seen a few deaths on stage, but we're not going to see one tonight because this lady is absolutely fantastic. She's raised a lot of money for charity in doing this. She's even got me. She said, I know I like black and white, but seriously, darling, seriously, right? She's even got me wearing a Newcastle strip. She's raised nearly £700 for charity because of
over 1,000.
Over 1,000. Oh, that's a round of applause. She'll tell you a little bit about that. She's going to talk to you for a couple of minutes. This is her first ever stand-up show, so please show all your love for the amazing Beck Funky Sunflower.
I hate that Mackem. Good evening. Yes, I'm Beck. This is my first time doing stand-up. My day job is hilariously encouraging people to spend the rest of their life in misery. I help plan their weddings, which is ironic considering I'm going through a divorce myself, and nothing gives me greater pleasure than sitting in a room with these couples who are starting out on this beautiful journey together, and I say, yeah, you know, it's wonderful, and I start telling them anecdotes about when I get married, and they glance down at my ring finger and there's nothing there, saying, no, I'm getting divorced, and their faces drop. I say, no, it's the best thing you could ever do, getting divorced. I love it. It's been such a wonderful experience for me. I'm not a bitter divorcee at all. I would never want to see my ex dead. Maimed, possibly. Never dead. That would be really quite horrible of me. And I think I'm quite a nice ex-wife, to be perfectly honest. I've not gone round, I've not said anything particularly horrible about him very much. I tend to like doing funny things to him, so if I've had a couple of beers, I go around and move his window boxes and like boot his gnomes in and stuff like that. That's not like a pseudonym or anything for his bits. He actually has weird gnomes in his garden now. But no one forced me into getting married. Quite the opposite. I got married in Jamaica. It was a wonderful wedding day. It was a shite marriage. It was a wonderful wedding day. But I should have kind of known. I was dressed. I was in all my fine. I had a tiara. I had the full dress. I was feeling like a princess. I was slightly pissed because my mum made me drink quite a few gins. And I saw him walking down. Me and my granddad came. He surprised me. He came out with me and got to give me a ring, which was quite nice. And we were hidden behind this wall and watched. See, I feel like I should call him by his real name, but I want to change his identity for the sake of it, so I'm going to call him the Knob, if that's alright, so I know what he is. So I was hidden by this wall watching the Knob walk down with the minister, who was actually rather attractive. And my granddad turned to me, looked me in the eye, and I was thinking, this is going to be one of these really lovely moments, really caring. It's my granddad and his only granddaughter. My grand sadly had passed away. I had a necklace. It was very emotional for me, and I looked at him. His eyes were a little bit skewy because he'd been drinking rum smoothies for about a week. So. And he couldn't hear a thing he was saying because his hearing aid didn't work because it was so hot. So we took it out. So there he is, pissed and deaf, and looking at me. And I'm kind of looking at him thinking, say something, tell me that I'm doing the right thing. And he just looked at me and went, Rebecca, there's still time, we can run. The airport's only 10 minutes away. He knew something that I didn't know. Anyway, I ignored it because I just thought he's had one too many rums. It's fine. I should have listened to him. He was the wisest man ever. He ran me, I'm not kidding you, he ran me down that aisle quicker than I don't know what. Sade, not that she was there in person, it was a CD obviously. She'd not even finished her first line and he had me down the bottom of that aisle. I swear to God it was because he saw the champagne at the end. He ran me down that aisle and threw me next to the Knob, which was wonderful. That again's quite ironic because there wasn't much of one. Anyway, there was no need for that. That was horrible. No, that was horrible. That was me. That was really quite me. It's true. That was me. Sorry. So yeah, we got married and everything was rosy for 30 seconds. And yeah, we're getting divorced. So I have kind of, because I work in weddings, you kind of get sucked into the romance of it all a little bit. Do you know what I mean? You're sitting and you're listening to all these couples. Some of them are young, starting out on this misplaced journey for the first time. Some of them are three times, some of them. You'd think they'd learn, but they haven't. And you kind of get sucked in and you think, do you know what, one day it might be quite nice to get married again. I've still got my tiara. I haven't got my dress. I took it to the skip and I threw it away. But I've got my tiara and I sometimes wear it along with my Iron Man onesie when I'm doing the ironing. And just think, one day I'm going to get married again. So I started dating a while back. And jeez, has anyone been on a date recently? See, when you're a grown-up, going on a date is horrendous. It's alright when you're young and like all you want to do is snog in a bus stop. But when you're older, people like they want to have conversations and stuff. So I've been on a few dates and seriously, never again. There was a guy called Mark. I should change all the names, but I'm not going to because I'm not that intelligent. Mark, who on our first date told me he wanted me to have his children. Yeah, I ran to the toilet and never came back. Hi Mark, if you're watching. Then there was Tony the teabagger, which isn't what you think. It isn't what, no, it's not what you dirty bastards. It's not what you think. Tony worked for Thai Fu, so I kind of went out with him because I thought I'd get a lifetime supply of tea bags. He picked me up. He lived actually weirdly 3 doors down from where I live, and where I live in this like park thing, you can only go one way to get out, and he lived that way and I was there, so he had to pick me up. Really, he had to pass me. He made this big deal about the fact he was going to pick me up. Don't know why, but he did. Anyway, he picked me up, and it's about 200-300 yards to get out of where I live. We hadn't even got out, and he told me about his friend who was dying of terminal cancer, which isn't funny, and also another guy who was really, really depressed at the time. And that was actually the funniest conversation we had in 3 hours. But I couldn't get out of his car, I couldn't leave. Sadly, we went to this place called Parkgate, which is lovely. It's really beautiful, and it kind of overlooks Wales, and they do the best chips ever, and I'm anyone's for a bag of chips. So that's why I didn't get out of the car, to be perfectly honest. But I never saw him again, funnily enough, which was quite annoying, because then I've got to buy me own tea bags. There was a couple of other weird ones, but I'll end with Gareth. Gareth is his real name. I'm going to fess up, right, I'm a car slag. He picked me up in an Audi TT and he had a nice suit on, and I'm like, hello. Okay. And we went to this lovely pub. It was beautiful, up in the hills overlooking Wales, and we had a couple of beers and we were getting on really, really well, and he said to me, oh, how about I dump my car back at mine, which you only live 5 minutes away from me. Yes, I have basically been out with everywhere I live. But yeah, we'll drop the car back at mine and we'll go to the local and have a couple of beers. It means I can have a drink. Fine, no problem. So all the way home, it's about 20 minutes drive home, and all the way home he's just going to me, just don't touch the dog, which is a bit weird. But I'm like, okay, I'm not going to touch your dog. First time, I'm not going to touch your dog. Second time, I'm not going to touch your dog. Third time, I'm not going to fucking touch your dog. So we get back to his house, and he opens his door, and I am not kidding you, this house is like beautiful. It's a big detached house. White carpets, white walls, really cool artwork, absolutely stunning, white leather couches. And I'm expecting, like, I don't know, a Doberman or something to greet me, because he's still going, don't touch the dog, whatever you do. So I'm like, I'm not going to touch your dog, I promise. So going to his, he's like, oh, do you want a glass of wine? Hi, I'll have a glass of wine. I drink far too much, I'll have a glass of wine. So he pours me a glass of red wine. Oh. And off he disappears to the loo, comes back down, he's like, if you touch the dog, this dog's like running around. Which I should point out isn't a Doberman. It's a Yorkie. A West Yorkshire Terrier, this beautiful little white ball of fluff. It's like, no, I've not touched your dog. So we sit and we're having another drink. So we may as well finish the bottle before we go to the pub. So okay, we'll finish the bottle. Pours another glass of red wine. I need to go to the loo again. What the hell? I don't read this much, and I read a lot. But off he goes. Anyway, this dog then suddenly, it sits at my feet. I'm sitting on this beautiful white leather couch, and this dog sits, and he's looking at me. Oh cute. I'm not allowed to touch you. Just don't look at me. So it runs around the coffee table and jumps up onto the couch and looks at me like this. I think this dog really likes me. It's really cute. But I'm not touching you, because he's told me not to touch you. I know not to touch you. The little shit then puts his head on my lap. I'm getting groomed by a dog at this point. And I'm thinking, well, the dog must like me. There must be something about it. It's either that or you can smell my can. But, you know, this dog obviously quite likes me. So there's nothing wrong with a little stroke, is there? What harm can this beautiful... So I've got my glass of red wine. I put it down on the side. In this beautiful white house with this beautiful white carpet and this beautiful white sofa. And I go like this. I am not even 5 inches from its head when it latches onto my hand. I can't get this little dog off. And it went, I still have scars. This is no lie. You can't make this stuff up. It latches that deep. There is now blood pissing out of my hand, dripping down a white dog's beard, onto a white couch, onto a white shag pile carpet. And I just sat there going, shit, what do I do? How do I get out of this house without him knowing I've touched his dog? So I'm thinking, well, I could just leave with the dog attached. It could be like a new fashion, you know, like Pandora. It's like a new fashion accessory. I'll just go home with it. As the blood's draining from me into his carpet. And then I hear him come downstairs. And I've had a bit of an accident. And he looks at me. And then looks at the dog. And then looks at the blood. And this guy's a bachelor. So anyway, he gets hold of this dog, who's still attached, by the way. There is still blood streaming down his beard onto the carpet. Lovely stain. And he says, oh, what have you done? Did you touch? No, the dog touched me. I didn't, which technically is true, remember. I never stroked him. I didn't even get within 3 inches of this dog. So he grabs the dog and he pulls his jaws off my hand, at which point it makes it even worse. If you can imagine, like, a fountain coming out of my hand, all over him, more all over his carpet. And he's a bachelor. So he's a bachelor. What's he going to have to bandage my hand together with? He's not going to have a plaster, is he? No, so my hand is now taped up with toilet roll and sellotape. It's fair to say I've not seen him again, funnily enough. I've still got the scars though. So I just thought, you know what, no, from now on, that is it. I am not dating, I am not going down that route, I'm not getting married, I'm sticking with Bob. Bob, by the way, is my battery operated boyfriend. Thank you very much.